clear. 1 or 2?
I know, that's what I felt like. I was like, they're both the same?
Or 4?
It's like going
2 or 3?
It's like going to the eye doctor, except more frustrating.
Except it's all the damn same. Give me my glasses and let me go home.
I just wanted to see which was going to be better, the snowball or my headset.
You're a snowball.
Ew.
This got Tom. Easy. I'm glad that Tom and I are like the two degenerates.
Yep.
We're like,
God, I just pop for it because you people disgust me.
I just meant he was a tasty cream-filled chocolate.
No, Tom was talking about a different kind of cream and a mouth and then a different mouth.
I know what he's talking about. I'm telling you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the delicious confectionery made by Little Debbie, and Tom had to turn it into some kind of freaking degenerate Ric Flair snuff film.
That's because he's a monster.
Yep.
He's a monster.
But he's our monster.
Haunts my dreams with his
sexy
dongle
face.
Please tell me you're recording this stuff like...
Oh, maybe.
Oh, God.
All right, let's get into this episode here so that we can get on with our night before Poot starts talking banking and we're here for another half hour listening to him about his job.
Oh, yeah, by the way, so...
No. Nope. I'll fuck the entire episode up on YouTube.
Interest rates...
Multi-family garage sale at 6.9% APR.
Actually, APR is not a really good thing.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut the hell up. It's time to start the show.
By the way, you sound really good tonight, Ransom.
Yeah, I'm on a corded headset and I'm not happy about it.
Oh, it sounds awesome, though.
Yeah, I know,
really
but
good.
I need to find one that fits into my ear hole better because this stupid headset that came with the stupid Apple iPhone doesn't stay in my ear, and I had to keep trying to shove it back in my ear hole every 30 seconds.
Super glue.
Yeah, so I'm already in a good mood, so shut up. Here we go.
All right, go.
God.
Everybody stop talking.
You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver. What the hell is that? Podcast.
Like Among Us, and we need these fucking idiots to mute themselves. Hi, everybody. It's the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. We're going to talk about pods and casts and Pittsburgh and pile drivers because that's what we do, apparently, allegedly, and on this show. It's a pick show once again, which means, much to the delight of Peef and Boot, no, Boof and Pete, no, Pete, no, Beat, no, fuck. Much to the delight of the other two schmoes on this podcast that aren't myself or Tiger Bomb Tom, it's likely going to lead to a new P3 Cruiserweight champion. I'm completely and happily delighted if it stays exactly where it is, but that's just me. Let's get on with the meat and potatoes of this episode because let's face it, like a fine wine, we only spill when uncorked. Ransom the Madman, Poot the Bard, Beef the Legend, and for the time being, that's right, folks, for the time being, your best damn cruiserweight champ there ever was, Tiger Bomb Tom. We're all for here, we're all for queer, and we're ready to talk to you about wrestling. And when I say queer, don't get up into me and all up in my shit. Oh, Pride Month. No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, we're weird. Okay? So we're talking 1950s style speak here, okay? Get on board. Is there picks? Do we have picks to do? What's happening?
We do.
Fireworks. There's fireworks in Mordor. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mordor.
Already?
Yeah, happy 4th of July. It starts on Memorial Day, and it doesn't let up until the fat man cometh with his presents.
If it was at least... Juneteenth, I could understand that, but it's not even that. It's just a random Thursday. Happy June 17th, everybody. Have some fireworks.
It's after Memorial Day. It's free range. Free range in Mordor for fireworks.
Free range fireworks in Mordor. Come get them.
Yeah. Until we start slaughtering turkeys for our Thanksgiving meal, it's fireworks season, motherfuckers.
How much does a pack of fireworks get you? Like, what, $49.99?
Hey, you know what you could probably do with that? You could spend it on something worthwhile and not likely to blow up in your face. You could spend it on us.
False. We are very likely to blow up in your face.
No,
Anyway,
I'm
Tom,
likely to blow up in your face because giggity.
Tom, picks.
I figured you would probably want to go over the current standings.
Yeah, man.
Goofy.
Yeah, man. Currently,
No, man. To me,
Don't bury the lead, Beef. God.
so first of all, we want to thank our non-P3 participants this month, which are, this month, which are Pat, the bastard, Pat, and Denny, I'm going to butcher his last name, Fedor, or Feder, I'm not quite sure. He is one of the moderators over at Pro Wrestling Talk Now and Then. There's a cheap plug for you. Great group. It's one of my favorite wrestling groups that I go to, and the moderators there are very cool and great discussions over there. Anyway, so we got two this month.
Good, solid community.
Yeah, man, and very, very active too. So if you're looking for your wrestling fix, head on over to Pro Wrestling Talk Now and Then.
I'm excited.
Right.
I'm excited. We got two people outside the podcast who are likely to take the title from us. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, and there's a ton of other ones that I'm gonna start needling on Facebook, like Mr. Dave
And Mr. Jeremy Horn.
And the Dos Hermanos Luchas, who I think can all be part of this. Also, where's Bob Gray this month, man? Makes you think. Anyway, here are the standings as we sit. Poot and Ransom are both up top with 15 points. Ransom's bold gamble on LA Knight with 5 points proved to be a very smart pick.
Hell yeah. Lucky. You pronounced lucky wrong.
Well, you know what? It paid off. But better lucky than good. Also, luck is for losers. Tom, our wonderful P3 champion, cruiserweight champion right now, has 14 points, along with Denny, who also has 14 points. And then lagging behind is myself at 13 points, and Pat with 11 points.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Apparently, luck is for losers, but smart marking is for ultra mega losers, so you can suck a big one, Beef.
I'll tell you what, Ransom. The P3 two-man power trip, we're going where? Where are we going?
To
That's right. The moon.
I hate you guys so much.
Oh, I love you, Beef.
I love
I love
us.
Poot a little bit more because he's a handsome fellow.
Oh, thank you.
I love the
Yes.
fact that as much as Beef's eyebrows are peaked, 99% of the time, they're just so droopy right now. There's just no peak to them at all.
Oh, it will be a glorious day if at the end of Clamor in the Cage, Poot and Ransom come out on top and we share this title. There'll be so much bragging and so much rubbing in the face of our good friend, the Wellington. It won't be funny. It'll be funny to us, not to him.
You know what would be even better is even with you guys having the 1 point lead on me, if somehow, some way, through this set of picks for Rage in the Cage, that I come back and I end up tying yet again, thus infuriating
that would be the funniest thing ever.
Thus infuriating Beef into what I'm sure will be cardiac arrest. So be on standby at the end of this pay-per-view. Just saying.
If you
the cardiac arrest won't be funny.
Yeah, but see, can I at least make a statement about the new system that we have going on?
Go ahead.
Like
go ahead.
I think honestly,
This
Morty is really making it more interesting because it adds a lot of different dimensions for your picks and how you do things and like what the gambits are and stuff like that. And we always have the luxury of going back to the old system or adding in prop bets or doing whatever. But like, I think this is working out pretty well. What do you guys think?
It gives me a super duper way of lucking into a win and doing some genuine heartfelt face rubbing.
Oh, listen, honestly, I don't even care that I'm not on top right now. That's what she said. But seriously, no, honestly, I played it safe, like with my picks. I was not sure about this Cameron Grimes LA Knight match, and that's why I only put 1 point on it. So thankfully, I'm not like super far behind. So it really is very interesting, and it makes you take a moment and really wager, consider your wager on the matches. So
Yep,
I'm here for
because
it.
and here's why that's important. Only 3 people missed one match. So I don't that's big math there. But basically, the entire card of NXT, all the picks that we had, there were 3 wrong guesses, which means that everybody's dynamite for picking NXT. But the disparity of points, with Tom only losing 1 point, me losing 2 points, and Pat losing 4 points, is very, very well stated. So that's why the points are important, and that's why I'm excited to have them.
Yeah, man. Like, and
Poot,
Love it. I love it.
and
What?
Poot, you got what was it? Poot, picking the well, I mean, he got the whole card right as it was, but if he would have gotten it wrong, he only put 3 points on that LA Knight Cameron Grimes match. So that could have we could have been seeing Ransom sitting pretty at the top all by his lonesome.
Well, and that was even the thing of like that. It's like the reason that I put 3 on that one was because I literally was 50-50 because I went, man, both these guys would be absolutely perfect for to hold that belt. Like, I mean, to hold the $1 million title. Like, and I'm really glad that they recognized the idea that Cameron Grimes does not need that belt to keep making the gimmick and make his character. But LA Knight did need that rub. And that was the reason why I went in on LA Knight.
I think he only needed the rub because he's new to NXT. Well, new again to NXT.
Well,
LA Knight is great. And I'm talking like top of the card, main event. I'm talking, I put him in the upper echelon of talkers. I would trust guys like The Rock, CM Punk, Moxley, and yes, even LA Knight with a microphone live on TV. So I think that LA Knight, if he continues to improve, will find himself on the top of the card in Raw or SmackDown sooner rather than later.
agreed.
Oh,
Agreed.
Yeah,
Terrible.
agree.
All right, do you guys want to get into these picks and then talk a little bit about NXT in your
man.
house?
Yeah, man.
In your
In your
All right,
mouse?
so, in your mouth?
Gigo, dear.
Gigo my. All right, go on.
You go, dear. All right, so as of right now, and as we know, the card's always subject to change or get shit added in at the last minute. But as of right now, we have only 5 matches for this particular event to pick as well. I'm going to go through the matches real quick, and then we will start the picking. All right, in no particular order, but just whatever I think it's going to be on the card anyways. We have Bianca Belair, the incumbent SmackDown Women's Champion, versus Bayley. This is a singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. We have Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler in just a singles match. No, nothing crazy going on there. We have a singles match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. That's going to be Rhea Ripley, your incumbent champion, versus the plastic Barbie doll that is the walking, talking Charlotte Flair. We have 2 Hell in a Cell matches. First one, we have Bobby Lashley, the incumbent champion, versus and with MVP in tow, whether that makes a difference for you or not, versus Drew McIntyre in a last chance Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. Now, because I have not been watching the weeklies, can somebody bring me up to speed? Like, is this just literally like they said, okay, Drew, this is your last chance. If you don't get it, you don't get the challenge for it again against Bobby anymore?
I don't know.
What we're going with?
I don't watch Raw.
Well,
it's not worth my time.
Well, fuck balls. That doesn't help anything.
I assume it's probably the last chance with Bobby Lashley as champion at this point.
Yeah. Okay. That seems to make the most sense to me. I don't think it's a Cody Rhodes AEW title situation.
Never win the W or the Universal title ever again.
Yeah, because who the fuck would they put?
title.
Yeah, because who the fuck would they put it on? Because that. Anyways, and then the last match, we have a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Rey Mysterio. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We'll get to that. All right, so gents, as is tradition, let me go ahead and kick things off. First match, Bianca Belair versus Bayley, SmackDown Women's Championship. My pick is going to be Bianca Belair retaining. I, again, still think it's way too soon, and I don't think they're going to do it on this pay-per-view. If anything, I think she holds it until SummerSlam. So I'm going to go with Bianca Belair. And, I'm going to put... I don't know. I'll put that for a 2. Poot.
I think that they should not take it off Belair yet, unless they wanted to give Belair a chase to SummerSlam, which I don't think is necessary. So I'm going to say Belair with 3.
Okay.
I'm going to say Belair with 3.
Okay. Beef.
My 5-pointer, folks, it is Belair.
You said 5?
Yes, sir. Absolute certainty that she wins.
And Ransom.
I'm with Belair, and I give her a 4.
Okay.
Kink.
All right.
All right.
Next match, we have Alexa Bliss. I would, even as Spooky Hoochie Mama, versus
I would even
Shayna.
more because of Spooky Hoochie Mama. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gucci.
damn it. Voodoo Mama Juju.
I can't help it. I can't help Voodoo Mama Juju. Voodoo Mama Juju versus Baszler.
I love it. I
God.
love it.
That's amazing.
You want more of a molasses in your accent.
Voodoo. Wait, hold on. May I? Voodoo Mama Juju.
God.
Side note, if you haven't, Ransom, I've been listening to the Office Ladies podcast. I've been binging it, and I love it.
I haven't. I mean to get into it, but I just haven't yet.
Yeah, it's cool. Nice little behind the scenes stuff. A lot of times where I find out, like, you find out that a scene in the show was like, people will ask, like, was that line improvised? And they're like, no, it was actually like almost word for word for the script. So it just really goes to show how good the writers are on that show. But then other times, like the little liberties that Rainn Wilson and Steve Carell would take, they're geniuses. I love it.
Oh, yes.
All right. Anyways, back to the match. Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler, a regular singles match. What you got? Boots.
I'm mulling it over.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
No. I'm
The thinking man is thinking.
I am the thinker right now. I am the thinky boy who thinks.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with
Thanks,
Alexa. I'm gonna go with Bliss at 2. Just because I don't know reasons. I really like Alexa Bliss. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bliss at 2.
Okay. Beefaroonie.
So, smart money's on Bliss winning, but the Fiend, the spirit of the Fiend, is seemingly an albatross around the neck of great performers. So, I don't know. It's a toss-up. I'm picking Bliss, and I'm also putting 2 points on it because I'm not sure about this one at all.
Okay. Sorry, I'm in the middle of eating.
Oh,
Because we're professionals here. Ransom.
hashtag, what's the point of even having picks? Ransom is going to also go with 2 points on Voodoo Mama Juju.
All right. I have not been watching. I don't know if Alexa's been getting the better of Baszler. I've seen one thing, and that was like a month ago.
Are Baszler and Tungus still a team?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah, ish. Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Mm.
And unfortunately, the glue that's holding it all together seems to be Reginald, which is even fucking worse.
Poor
So-
Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I don't know what's been going on with all of that.
Nothing good.
Nothing good. Damn it! I was just thinking that. Got out of my head.
If the last segment on Raw this week was compared to the Hogan Warrior segment in WCW, where Warrior was behind a false mirror, and Hogan looked in the mirror and saw the Warrior, but no one else in the NWO could see the Warrior. Only Hogan could. That's how good the last segment on Raw was this week. So
Damn, that's awful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Not the best. But hey, when you're running from a spooky dolly, anything can happen.
The
God.
shit show this company has become.
This is why the Fiend lost at WrestleMania, folks. For Voodoo Mama Juju.
Yeah. So, man, I really think like the rest of this card is going to be pretty cut and dry. So I'm going to get weird with it. And I'm going to say Baszler with 3 points.
Wow, you're sticking your neck out there. I like it.
I got to. I have no other choice.
I'm interested to hear that you think the rest of the card is also cut and dry, because that's not exactly how I see things.
Well, we'll see.
Says the man without a belt.
Remember that time that I actually didn't have a belt and I used like a microphone cable? That may have been before college.
Yeah,
I do remember that, and it wasn't a microphone cable. It was an extension cord.
Yep.
Oh my! Was it an orange extension cord?
No,
it was brown.
black. It was like brown. It was one like you know how
brown.
like every house, every dad has that brown extension cable that whenever like their kid asks like, "Dad, do you have an extension cable I can use?" and they're like, "Yeah, here's this rubbery play school one." It was one of those.
Like you have it and you never fucking use it for anything.
No, because it's a piece of shit, and you plug stuff into it and it like won't come out.
You know what I mean? Or like two of the outlets work on it and one doesn't.
Yep.
I know what you're talking about because I have it.
The prong is bent, and when you plug it in, there's like sparks come out. Like, yeah, that's the one that I used my belt for a while. It wasn't a long time, but it was a while.
Everybody, welcome to Cable Talk with the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast.
Well, you said I didn't have a belt, so I wanted to, give the honest story.
Resistance, 1/4-inch plugs, how it holds up your pants. Magoo.
Yeah, I see all of that as, yes, good.
Yeah. All right.
Wear it like a belt. Where's the hat? Where's the damn camera?
All right.
Where's the damn kid?
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, here we go. Next match. The Raw Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley versus Plastic Magoo. Beef, who do you got?
I have no fucking idea. Figure it out. Again, Smart Money has Rhea winning, but my mind goes back to Hell in a Cell like 4 years ago, whenever there's no way in hell Sasha Banks should have lost that belt to Charlotte Flair in the cage, but it happened
she
anyway.
Did. Yep.
So I am very nervous about this match. I'll tell you up front, it's my 1-pointer. I'm picking Rhea Ripley because I think that I gotta believe they're building to her losing that belt to Charlotte, which I think is unfortunately an eventuality. It's probably going to happen at Allegiant Stadium, if we're being honest. But I think that Rhea hangs on here, 1 point on it.
Okay. Ransom.
Hydrating.
Hydrator, bitches.
Oh my! Well, it's the building block of life.
It's serious.
If there's any justice in the world, Rhea Ripley will not lose this belt at this event to Charlotte Flair. But we all know that justice is a hard thing to find these days in WWE, especially now that the Shield is gone. So I'm going to say Rhea Ripley, but I'm also using my lowest confidence point on this match, and I'm going to call it a 1.
Okay.
It's a shame. It's a big shame that we're calling a match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair and both Beef and I have used ones on it. This should be a 4 or 5 point worthy match because Rhea Ripley is that good and deserves that belt, and Charlotte doesn't need it. Yet we all know eventually that belt finds its way back to frickin' Flair.
Here's what's hilarious. They're booking Rhea so hard as a heel, but I guarantee I will put like physical beef money on the table, saying that as soon as fans are back in the stadium, Rhea gets cheered and Charlotte gets booed.
100%.
I've never been so confident in my life.
No, there's no question about that. It's going to happen.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but at least for the pay-per-views, aren't the pay-per-views, isn't Hell in a Cell going to be in front of a live audience?
No.
No?
Hell in a Cell and Money in the Bank, as far as I know, are still at the Thunderdome. WWE does not start touring until late July.
That's
and
right.
The first pay-per-view is going to be in front of fans. It's going to be at Allegiant Stadium, which is the Raiders' new football stadium out in Vegas.
SummerSlam?
It's SummerSlam, yep.
Wait.
I mean, I understand wanting to have SummerSlam, like one of your big four, as the first pay-per-view back in front of fans. Like, I get that mindset, but why would you not jump on the opportunity at this point, knowing that fans are allowed back in the stadium, to get them in there as quick as possible?
I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is that Vince loves this Thunderdome thing because he has complete and utter control over everything, which is why he loves this stupid Thunderdome thing.
Well, let's keep in mind, the other half of this is that a lot of places, like we see things happening in Pennsylvania rather rapidly. That doesn't mean that things are happening across the nation as rapidly.
True.
So
they're out of Florida, right? Like, you could get fans in Florida.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. They could just open up. I think I don't even remember where the Thunderdome is anymore. It's not Tropicana, but they could literally open up that building and say, "Hey, we want fans." But they've spent so much time, effort, and money into having that Thunderdome. I was so happy when the Thunderdome was gone for In Your House. Even though it was only like 200-300 people, I was so happy that those stupid fucking Zoom calls were gone, and that it was just actual people. And they even like didn't pipe in. They stopped piping in stuff once they heard the crowd was actually making noise.
By the way, I'm anxious to hear once we get done with picks. I'm anxious to hear about the role of True Partner. So, looking forward to that discussion. Let's carry on, continuing the picks still with this match.
Oh, hey, real quick, I stand corrected. Money in the Bank will be in front of a live audience in Dickies Arena in Fort Worth.
Have sex celebration, yes.
No, oh.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, so Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. All right. I am gonna go with. God, this one is gonna be rough because I already took a risk on Baszler, but I don't know. I'm gonna say Rhea. And I don't know. I guess I'm going to put 4 on it.
Oh.
All right, Poot, what you got?
All right. This is tough because I'm never underestimate WWE to completely fuck up a good thing, i.e. going back to the Fiend debacle with was it Voodoo Mama Juju? I'm going to say Ripley as well. Oh, God help me. I'm going to say Ripley. I'm going to throw 4 at it as well.
Oh my.
Yeah, because
Big money. Big money.
yeah, I got to do it just because I'm looking at the last 2 matches and I have a plan.
He's a man with a plan.
Yes.
And man,
thank you,
God
Ransom.
love the Brian Kendrick. One of the greatest moments was him giving a burning hammer in the CWC to who was it? Kota Ibushi. That was one of the best moments of that, because after that happened, you hear Daniel Bryan on commentary scream, "Pin him now, Bryan." And, you know, the Brian Kendrick. And plus, I love that theme music. I'm a man with a plan. I love it.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. A close second for greatest moment with the Brian Kendrick was whatever. I forget which pay-per-view it was, and you audibly heard a fan yell, "Cut your hair, you fucking hippie!"
Oh my God.
That was great. All right.
Yep, I'm going to go Ripley 4.
Okay, Ripley for 4. All right,
Yeah.
so we went me. Okay, so I was trying to figure out, I was like, who's up to pick first? It is Ransom. Ransom, you are up to pick, sir. And the match is Bobby Lashley, Ricky Bobby, the champ, versus Drew McIntyre. That was, I don't know what that was. Fucking forget that. Just fix it in post.
I'm very sad about that.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
Just fix it in post. It's the last chance Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship. So yeah, who you got, Ransom?
So normally I'd easily pick Bobby Lashley in this match, but I don't know exactly the stipulations surrounding this last chance. Is it last chance for WWE title ever? Is it last chance against Bobby Lashley? And on principle, I want to pick Bobby Lashley because, good Lord, I've had enough of Drew. I feel bad.
Can I quote real quick? Can I quote WWE.com on this match on the stipulation?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. As the two Warriors signed their WWE title match contract, MVP raised the stakes by declaring it would be the challenger's final opportunity to dethrone the Almighty Champion.
Okay, so that leads me to believe that he can Drew McIntyre can challenge for the WWE title again, just not against Bobby Lashley.
And I would assume, I would, and I would assume that, like, if Lashley loses the belt and picks it back up again, McIntyre can try to get him again. But at this particular moment in time, for this particular reign, this is it.
Right. So, I don't know. And on principle, I want to pick Bobby Lashley because I've had enough of Drew McIntyre in the WWE title hunt. I've had enough. He's fallen into the John Cena, Roman Reigns category for me. And it's less about his ability. This is no knock on Drew McIntyre. I think he has a great ability, but I'm tired of seeing him there. He's been on top / in the title hunt / the champion for a while now, and it's very stale for me. And I don't fault him at all. I fault WWE for that because it's just a continued push. Now, where I am going to sound like an ass is if you have a talent the caliber of a Stone Cold Steve Austin or a The Rock or of the Shawn Michaels or the Bret Harts, you can continuously have them. Man, hell is coming soon because I keep throwing out the name of Bret Hart when it comes to like greatness.
Yeah. Are you having strokes? Mini strokes here?
I think my time's coming. Like, I think I'm preparing for the end. So, you know, I'm giving him all the praise I can before my time is finally up.
Gotcha.
I think when you have superstars of that caliber and quality, you can have them continuously be on top or continuously be the champion or in the title hunt, and it's not going to be a problem. But I don't slot Drew McIntyre, though he is talented, I don't slot him into the category of those men. So I think he needs time away from the top He needs time away from the title in order not to become a John Cena type or a Roman Reigns type. Hey, he's a face, but dear God, we're so sick of him and we're going to boo him. I'm really afraid that if they continue to push him the way they are, he's always in the title picture or he's got the belt, whatever. When they go back in front of live crowds, the fans are going to turn him heel because they're going to boo him. They're going to be sick of him. I'm speculating. I don't know that for sure. I wouldn't put it past WWE to have him lose this match and then to have him be the next person to challenge Roman Reigns for that belt. That just seems like a WWE move. So with my confidence being as low as it is, I am going to say Bobby Lashley, but I'm going to use, I think, the lowest number I have left, which is a 3.
I like all of what you're saying, and I'm here for it. If there's still that little bit of in the back of my mind, because I have not been watching the weeklies for quite a few weeks now, and I won't be watching the weeklies once I move either, because we're foregoing cable. So hooray Hulu replays! They're gonna cut out 90% of the shit that I need to see or would want to see on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
probably the
they
good
do.
stuff too.
Fuck
They're
you,
gonna cut out the
Hulu.
good stuff. They're gonna leave in the stupid stuff.
Yeah, either that or I'll have to wait till it's on the CAC. But
Yeah.
how quickly do they have those come up on the Peacock?
It's a month later.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Well,
What's the point?
That's the
Wait,
deal.
for the weeklies?
Yep, that's the deal. That's the deal with.
Fucker.
Yeah, that's the
Wait.
deal with.
Hulu? Are you sure?
No,
I thought it
Hulu.
was
No,
okay.
Hulu's immediate, but Peacock.
okay.
Yeah.
Because you get
Yeah,
the
Peacock.
entire
Peacock,
show on
okay.
Peacock, it's a month.
Gotcha. Sorry, I zoned out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hulu's next day, but they cut out some shit at times.
Yeah, they do.
Not at times.
Stupid.
They
All
cut
the
out
time.
some shit all the time.
You get basically SmackDown in its entirety, but Raw is cut down to an hour and a half.
Yep. Which is okay
Fucking
because Raw
stupid.
sucks. Yeah, Raw does suck. So I mean, I'm glad I would only have to watch an hour and a half of it, anyways. That said, I'm kind of going along the lines of Ransom on this one. I'm gonna pick Lashley, and I'm also gonna use my lowest number, which is a 1, because I don't know, just reasons. Poot.
Well, I'm gonna go. Boy.
Yeah.
We shit on WWE quite a bit, but we're sitting here mulling over like what they're gonna do with Lashley, and we're mulling this over, and this is our lowest pick, and it should honestly be cut and dry because I think the other way around from what was said earlier. I think what's going to happen is instead of Lashley losing and going to challenge Roman Reigns, it's going to be McIntyre going to challenge Roman Reigns. Unless I wasn't paying attention and that's what was said.
You weren't. That's what I said.
Yeah, like
I said McIntyre was going to
Yeah.
lose and go to challenge.
Yeah. I mean, that just kind of makes sense. So I'm going to go Lashley, and I'm going to give it a 5. No, I'm going to give it a 1. I'm going to give it a 1. Just because that's what I have left, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think we all know what we're going to do on the next one. So, Lashley, I'm going to go Lashley with a 1 just because it's the number I have left here for this. I really hate for the WWE Championship dumping a 1 on this pick, but it is what it is, and I think that they would be foolhardy to take that belt off of Lashley because he looks like $1 million with that belt. He's earned it, and he does really, really well in the ring. Like, I mean, it's not like we're sitting here and we're saying 5-star match. Oh my God, Bobby Lashley, he's the new best bout machine. Like, we're not doing that, obviously. But I think that Lashley has really done a good job carrying that belt and making it feel important and imposing. So
Agreed.
I'm going to go Lashley 1.
Yeah. And speaking of the best bout machine, when we get done with picks, we should probably touch on that very quickly too, because that's been a topic that we've been discussing for weeks now. But we'll get back to that. Beef, who do you got in this match here?
There's no fucking way I can win, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, come on, Beef. We need a sound clip of the Scott Steiner math here, Poot.
No, yeah, I
you
mean,
got 93% and I've got 5,000%.
The numbers don't lie, Beef. This
Poot and I
belt
have
is destined for you at Sacrifice.
Beef.
Poot and I have picked identical for this event. I'm 2 points down from Poot. The best I can do is a 3-pointer here. So the best I can do is tie Poot.
That's okay. If you
Tag
tie
champ.
him. Yeah.
Tag champs.
Yeah. Get weird with it.
Yeah, you know what? Because initially I definitely had Lashley penciled in here, but in the interest of believing that I need these points, I'm gonna go ahead and make a snap decision, because Lashley has had the belt since February. So, if the WWE believes that Drew McIntyre is the face that they want to run with the next decade or so, then and they're planning on selling out a 80,000 seat arena in the summer, in August, they're gonna need all their big faces with big dumb titles. So I'm gonna go ahead against my better will, and I'm gonna pick Drew McIntyre here just for the sake of points, and I'm gonna put 4 points on him.
You know what's going to happen now that I just thought about it? I don't know what triggered it after Beef was talking. You watch. You know what's going to happen. Drew's going to win the match by DQ, but not.
It's a Hell in a Cell
match.
No,
that's right. Never mind. It's a Hell in a Cell. Never mind.
It's a Hell in a Cell. Also, Ransom, right here, just because of the maths that Beef has thrown out, there's a picture I put in chat in our Discord, and I would like you, if you could, if you don't remember, that's fine. But if you could, in the YouTube video, put it up right now. Super.
I'll do my best.
Thank you. That would be that right there. If Ransom remembered to put it up, that's Beef with the mathematizing that's going on.
Put me down for Drew with 4 points. I really wish I wouldn't have burned my 5-pointer on Belair now, because I definitely would have used it for my Hail Mary here, but that's okay. I will stick with 4 pointer.
The beauty of the point system.
Yes, it is.
Now, here's my, I guess, rationale of picking Lashley. And here's how I see things playing out, I think, if they were smart. Now, again, are they smart? I don't know. Am I smart? Definitely not. So this could all be utter bullshit. But I didn't want to say this before Beef picked, because I didn't want to give him an idea. But I feel like if WWE was smart, they're not going to put the belt back on Drew McIntyre here and have him go into SummerSlam, the first pay-per-view with a packed stadium, as the champion. I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to have Lashley win here. There'll be some kind of fuckery around Money in the Bank where I feel like something will happen to where Lashley loses the title, gets it back, and then at SummerSlam, what happens is either Drew McIntyre challenges him once again because Lashley lost it, he got it back, challenge, and Drew McIntyre wins in front of the big crowd, which is his big comeuppance, the big celebration, what they wanted to have happen at Mania but didn't. I feel like that's a possibility that can happen. Or if they were smart to get Drew McIntyre that big pop, what would happen is Drew McIntyre loses this match to Lashley, can't challenge again, technically challenge, but McIntyre could win Money in the Bank
Yep.
and cash in against whoever
At
at
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, winning that title, thus once again putting him back in that spotlight of gloriously getting the title, holding it up in front of the crowd, fireworks, big, huge pop. What they wanted to have happen at Mania, but again, didn't.
I would be so pissed.
Big Scottish boner. That's what
I'd
they're
be
going to go
so
for.
fucking pissed if McIntyre wins Money in the Bank. It would be a wasted fucking slot. Remember whenever Strowman won it a couple years ago? It would be that, but worse.
Well, get ready for it, because, you know, that's probably what'll happen. We got one last match to pick. Do I even need to go through, or can I just write down Reigns for all of us? Is that what we're all picking? I mean,
that's what I'm picking because let's face it.
I mean, I'm up first to pick. I'm just telling you, I'm picking Reigns. Like, and I already have the point values down because we all have our last amount of points, so there is no debating that. So I got Reigns. Poot.
Let's well go through them. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. If anybody is really gonna pick Mysterio,
Suck my dick, Mysterio at 5. No, definitely Reigns at 5. There's no reason to and I know this sounds insane, but it doesn't even sound insane. It's just no offense to Mysterio, his legacy is set. I mean, he's done a lot. He's a legend both in Mexico and in across the world. When you say cruiserweight, a lot of people think of Rey Mysterio. When you say luchador, a lot of people immediately think of Rey Mysterio. There's no. Hoovy, actually, did you know he's a DJ now?
No.
Yeah, he's a DJ. Pretty successful one from what I understand.
Very good.
And of course you think of Penta and Phoenix and everything, but Rey Mysterio is, I mean, he's the standard bearer. I mean, that's just kind of what it is to the general wrestling zeitgeist. So right. I'm going with Reigns. There's no reason for Reigns to lose yet. Whoever takes the belt off of Reigns needs that rub, and they will deserve that rub. That's something that I really don't think of anything on this card or anything in WWE. WWE's not going to fuck this up, with Reigns. They're just not. They can't. And I know I'm putting my mouth on trouble saying that, but come on. It's absolutely true. So I'm going with Reigns at 5.
Beef.
Yeah, even if I put all 3 points on Mysterio, I'm not going to tie Poot. Poot's going to beat me by 1 point this month. So,
Ransom, put that picture up again.
I'm just going to go Reigns with 3. No, we're like, oh man, it's going to be a big deal and it's going to be so different, but we all fucking pick the same exact fucking thing anyway. It doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you know what? Look, I'm sorry, Beef. You go ahead.
I'm more pissed that we have 5 fucking matches to pick from when there's going to be at least 3 more added to the card.
And one of those would be a pre-show.
Yeah. So I would bet money that Cesaro and Rollins ends up added to Hell in a Cell. Maybe it'll be a fucking Hell in a Cell match. I would bet money that Apollo Crews and Big E are likely going to have some sort of a match there too, maybe involving Shinsuke. I don't know.
Well, let's wrap up what we have confirmed, and then we'll spitball a little bit.
All right, Ransom.
So
Reigns.
Yeah, it's okay. Reigns. You can put me down for Reigns, but let me tell you this: if Mysterio wins this match, and I get it, legendary career, legacy, luchador, blah 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 blah, whatever. With all the people that Reigns has beaten, with as strong as they've made him look, and I understand, it's wrestling. Yes, we've had crazy-ass stuff happen in wrestling. I get it, but you can't build Reigns as this unstoppable beast, this brute, this powerhouse, the head of the table. You can't. And have him lose to someone the size of Rey Mysterio. That won't work. It doesn't scan. There's no, I'm done with WWE for a while. if that happens, because it makes zero sense all across the board. It should not happen. And if it does, it's as big a travesty as what's happened to The Fiend.
I would be less upset because of his size. I'd be more upset because he's a fucking legend that doesn't need another fucking title run.
Well, yeah, that too, yeah. Like, I have no problem with Rey Mysterio being the world champion. Like, when he was world champion, fine. I have no problem with that. I'm not saying that he should be relegated to the Cruiserweight title. No. But again, it's someone the size of Rey Mysterio going up against the size of Roman Reigns. You put someone like Rey Mysterio in a match with, hell, maybe Rollins or, I don't know, just someone who's not... You look at Roman Reigns, you're like, okay, if Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio got into it, Roman Reigns squashes Rey Mysterio with one hand.
How big was Thanos compared to Captain America? You know, Thor was the size almost of me when he beat down Thanos. So
you're talking superhero character. No, it's not.
It's entertainment.
No.
It is all 100% entertainment. And there is still money in the underdog story. There is still money in the little guy beating the big guy. However,
that's
been done to death with Rey Mysterio, though. Done to death.
That's my point. There is not money in that particular story with this little guy. I think that his son could get some traction on those wheels, being a little guy himself. But at the end of the day, it's still entertainment. It could happen. And, you know, Shayna Baszler was getting hunted down by a little doll on Monday Night Raw. So there's, you know, fucking nothing outside the realm of believability to me.
I was gonna say that's really what it comes down to for me is I kind of along the lines more with Ransom. It's, you know, you have to be able to suspend your disbelief when it comes to pro wrestling, and we all know that. And having been fans of it for so long, you know, sometimes we're a little bit more jaded. But I still I'll say that that's one thing about like NXT and AEW. They do better than Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and whatever main roster pay-per-views that WWE puts out, is the ability to have me sit there and second guess myself mid-match, like, is this person really going to win? Are they not?
Yep.
You know, that's they do
all the time.
They do such a good job with that. Whereas, you know, it was kind of like, do I even have to ask? We're all picking Reigns, right? Right. Let's move on. You know, like it's.
And there's still a vast difference in those two storylines. Like, they build the character of Alexa Bliss / The Fiend as a supernatural character. They build this not as a supernatural character of Rey Mysterio having all the unlimited power, even though he's super small. They're not building it like that. They're building it as a wrestling match between two wrestlers, not between the demonic fiend, black goo, Alexa Bliss, Prometheus, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're not building that. This is just a straight-up wrestling match. Rey Mysterio versus Roman Reigns.
This is a Hell in a Cell match.
It's a Hell in a Cell match, but still.
Which, to me, favors Mysterio because he can climb, he can move. I mean, I hear what you're saying.
And Roman Reigns can throw him around like a rag doll into it. I
hear what you're saying, but here's my argument.
Rey Mysterio can climb, blah, blah, blah. So Rey Mysterio climbs, Roman Reigns just sits down. He doesn't have to chase him.
But he will, because, you know, just like in the horror movies, people don't have to run upstairs, but they do. It's entertainment, and I think that's why it's a Hell in a Cell match, because it offsets Mysterio's weakness against Reigns. Reigns is a powerhouse. Reigns is not a guy who's going to move and shake. Mysterio is a guy who's going to move and fly. I think they did a good job of neutralizing it and holding this match in the Hell in a Cell. Whereas a guy like KO can go punch for Reigns, or so can Cesaro, because they're powerhouses. Mysterio is not. So this does a good job of masking that and making it more of an even playing field, in my opinion.
You're not
That's
wrong.
Fun, and I agree with that. I don't understand the booking of this in general. Why Rey Mysterio? Didn't he just win the tag titles with his kid? Why is he in the Universal title picture when he just won the tag titles?
I think
is there no one else you can put in there?
I think it was also that they could film that spot where Reigns power bombed his kid out of the ring onto nothingness, which looked really cool. Which is like one of the only things that they can do at the Thunderdome, which looks cool, where they can film something and have somebody land on a fucking crash pad. Nobody knows it's a crash pad because of how they're filming it. If that's done in front of the 15,000 people, they're gonna boo the hell out of it because they're gonna be like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" So like it was a cool spot, but I think that this is a one spot match.
This match just screams of filler.
Yep.
It screams of title hunt filler. We don't know what to do with Reigns. We don't want to put somebody big in with Reigns here at Hell in a Cell. We want to save it something big for Reigns for SummerSlam. So we're going to fill in Hell in a Cell with Rey Mysterio. It's a filler.
Yeah, basically what you're saying is like we have to have Reigns have a card on the match. So, ergo.
Yes. That's what it's screaming that. I don't understand why this is happening other than filler.
I bet you. How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet that next month at Money in the Bank we get Roman Reigns versus Dominic?
Oh my gosh.
I'd almost be willing to put actual money on that. Like
I put
I
5
think
points on
so.
Dominic just because I hate it.
I don't think so. I think we'd sooner get Ray versus Reigns again. But I think that they're probably going to be a little bit more calculated with Dominic. I could be wrong, but
I'm just saying it's next month is going to be a filler anyways. So for Reigns, it's going to be a filler till SummerSlam. So why let's just put him in with fucking Jared Listerman for all I care. I don't care. Fucking powerbomb Jared Listerman all the way down from the 62nd floor all the way down to the first floor of KDKA news station. Fuck it. Why not? Because reasons.
Yeah, his corpse is still hanging out in the lobby waiting for us.
Yep. Hey, so somebody mentioned the best bout machine earlier on when we were talking about whatever match, and I don't remember. How do you feel about the fuckery at the Impact pay-per-view there, Beef? With because we kept debating whether or not what's going to be the first title that Kenny Omega loses, and we were all thinking it might have been this might have been the one.
Well, why don't we have our trove of knowledge, Mr. Beef the Legend, fill in folks on what happened? Beef?
Yeah, tell me what happened because I didn't even read it.
I'll be honest, I don't want to talk about Kenny Omega. We've spent probably over 2 hours of talk time on him in the last month. Did
he lose the belt?
Nope, he won it. He retained at the Impact pay-per-view with the help of the Good Brothers. So now he faces Sami Callihan at Bound for Glory for the Impact title. I think it would have been a smart play to take that belt off of him, but I think AEW is reserving that right for them. So we'll see how we'll see how Triple Mania goes. Triple Mania comes up here, I think in July, which is where he's facing Andrade for the Mega title. So
I could see Andrade pulling that belt off him. I could.
Well, and it would work out well because if he pulls the belt off of him, guess what? Andrade's on AEW now too. So he could always pull the, hey, I beat you once, champ. But I don't know, man. I just I don't want it to make it seem like my steam is dying out for Kenny Omega. I still love Kenny Omega. I still love the character. Nothing has changed between what we talked about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, than now. So I just feel like until something big happens with Omega, we can talk about other things going on. But that's just me. If you guys want to talk about Omega, fuck it, we'll talk about Omega.
No, the only thing I was gonna say is that I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I remember saying that when we were talking about Sami Callihan being in the title picture, and you said you'd be more apt to see Moose take it off of Kenny than Sami Callihan. So I wonder if they're still gonna work Moose in and have it be like a triple threat then.
Which would make a ton of sense. That way Omega can lose the belt without being pinned.
I think that could be the way that they do it. Just we'll keep our ears to the ground on that one. But I wanted to throw that out there real quick to see if
Impact's weird. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like the Good Brothers barely wrestle on Impact anymore unless it's with Kenny Omega. I swear we see them more on AEW than we do with Impact. This whole thing's kind of wonky, and I'm here for it. It's the good kind of like, that's interesting. Keeps the oil in the engine going, but I don't know, man. Impact is going to impact, and I think they're just going to impact it up all over themselves. So,
Yeah.
So how was the cameo of one Turpurger in your house?
oh, it was perfect.
Oh,
man.
it was hilarious. It was hilarious.
He knew his role on the card, and he played it to a T.
Describe for me what happened, because I did not get to watch NXT at all.
He did a lot of like the classic schlocky stuff, like going, "Hey, if you're really enjoying the event, check out this merchandise at www.shop.wwe.com." And then like he had a lot of like interaction with the wrestlers. Like he did the whole thing with Hit Row, and that was really cool. And then like he was talking about, what is it called, Karate Fighters? The like. Basically, like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but like they did karate kicks. And of course, his opponent for that was Dexter Lumis, Ransom's NXT analog. And they were fighting and everything. They were doing the thing. And then in the middle of their little game, Todd Pettengill goes, "So how are things with the ladies?" And Dexter Lumis stops fighting and just looks up at it.
Oh no, the Matrix. The Matrix has Poot.
No, but not on the recording, so you're gonna just listen to me. What?
Yep, I was gonna say, here's the part where Poot says, "Hey, it's on the recording. It's not on mine. It's on your end.
It's on the recording. It's fine."
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, it's on the recording. It's fine.
God damn Matrix.
I liked his little thing with the VHS. I thought that was a little little reachy, but it was still funny. Where he basically had a VHS tape of somebody's promo he wanted to run, and they were like, I think it was Mackenzie was like, "We don't have VHS anymore." And he's like, "DVD?" And she's like, "No, we don't have DVD yet." He's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna run a step to the truck," and it was good for a good flaw.
It was good schlock.
Exactly.
All right,
are we really that far removed from DVDs? Like, God.
Yeah, we are, man. Yeah,
dude.
Really,
like
we are.
Blu-ray was here for a cup of coffee, and then fucking everybody's digital now. Everything's digital.
Everything's digital. Like you can still buy Blu-rays, but why? There's no reason.
Well, I still jerk off manually. So.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we don't. I mean,
it's a Big Lebowski quote. Use your time in the new house when you don't have cable to watch the Big Lebowski.
I did watch the Big Lebowski.
Well, then you should have
gotten the quote. Hey. All right, so if anyone here notices all of a sudden a big drop in the recording quality, yet again, on a Thursday night, every other night, no problem with the Bardic internet here. But then always on Thursdays, during podcast time, that's whenever Atlantic Broadband decides to shit the bed. And it always is very inconvenient. Atlantic Broadband, you're trying to get between me. You're being a cock block for this podcast, and you're being a talk block for this podcast. And I don't appreciate it. So for anyone listening, I apologize. It's on my end, and I'm sorry, and I'm just as mad as you. Anyway, gentlemen, resume.
I don't even remember what we were talking about because we talked about so much else.
Yeah.
What were some of the highlights from in your house? Was it we talked about it in your house?
We
kind of talked about Bob Pettengill. So all right. I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna be the bad guy. I wasn't wild about in your house. It was a good show. Now I've taken some flack from the aforementioned online community about my view on this, comparing it to AEW, and I know that they're not analogous. I know that apples and oranges. I understand every bit of that. the Double or Nothing is a major pay-per-view for them. In Your House is not a major. I get every bit of that. But at the end of the day, as a consumer, as I'm sure everybody is, because of their relative talent, because of the ratings being so close, because of the fact that they were head-to-head for almost a year and a half, it's going to get comparative. All right?
It's easy to compare the two. That's what it is. It's easy to compare the two.
So especially whenever AEW had a pay-per-view, 2 weeks ago, and then NXT has one, it's like, okay, well, this is fresh in my mind, so here's what I'm going to compare it with. So I know, again, I know it's not analogous, but I thought the 6-man tag was really good. A lot of people have a problem with that match in general being on the card.
Why? Is there a reason why?
Well, because they think that it should have been split. That there should have been a tag team title match and North American title match, not tag team and North American. Because that basically led to an aforementioned or a foregone conclusion as to who's going to be winning that match.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is understandable, especially whenever you had Mercedes Martinez versus Xia Li being meh at best.
I was really curious about how good that match would be or not, and
it was okay. It had a very sudden end.
Okay.
And then the aftermatch was probably as long as the match, where Mercedes beat up Boa, Mercedes beat up Xia Li, and then she got in a stare down with Tion Cha, I think his name.
Let's just call her Spooky Chang. I don't know.
That's
Scary
Dragon Lady.
Rice today.
Mean.
Scary Dragon Lady. I think it's
Scary Dragon Lady.
May Lin. May Lin
and politically correct.
May Lin is her name. Anyway, she did the stare down with May Lin, and then May Lin used the tongue and death grip, which I'm cool with. I like the tongue and death grip. I think it's a cool move for her. But it's like here's this lady that you've been talking about being this great old one, to borrow a turn of phrase, that being this larger than life 1,000-year-old character, and now she's all of a sudden using tongue and death grip to put people down with. I don't know, man. That.
You should just use telekinesis. Fuck it. Why not?
Right, exactly. Honestly, that may make a little bit more sense. I don't know, man. I don't think that she should be involved at all physically. I think that this angle has taken its legs, and I think that it has walked around a bit, and I think that it's time for Tion Cha to go away, but they're not going to because they put time and effort into them. Yeah. So
or Yamcha.
So that I think that was a real glaring problem. Everything else was just above, at or above the level by a little bit. The 5-man match at the end was really good. I really enjoyed that. They did a killer job of they did a killer job of teaming up with one another in ways that you wouldn't suspect.
Okay.
Double team maneuvers and things like that kind of came out of nowhere. That you looked at and you go, "Oh, that's cool," and "Oh, that's innovative." A lot of people.
I was gonna say, look at the participants that you had. I mean, you had. Now, I know we've said that before. You can have two great workers, and they just have bad chemistry. There was something I think that happened in on the last AEW.
Baker versus Hikaru Shida.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That it just kind of fell flat in ring performance wise
until the last 3 minutes, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's not a foregone conclusion given the participants for the 5-way match that you were going to get this banger of a match. You could still have that anomaly happen, but I think it's one of those cases where you have guys that when you have anything with when you have a triple threat or higher, that there's always time for rest for people on the outside and stuff like that. So we've seen a lot of these people work with one another in the past, and it's always been killer, given whatever various combination it's been. So I think it would have been safe to say it would have been a foregone conclusion that this was going to be technically a good match in the ring.
Somebody described Karrion Kross as the square peg in the round hole in NXT, and I don't like that, but at the same time, I get it, I understand it, and that makes a lot of sense, honestly, because when you start stacking guys up in a match where there are multiple people, and they're all punitive compared to Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross is a big deal. So whenever you put your 4 other best talents in NXT, and he's head and shoulders bigger than them, and he's bigger mass wise, it's tough. That makes things on NXT tough to kind of swallow and believe that anybody's going to beat Kross. So right now I'm really getting into what they're doing with Karrion.
You're gonna,
I am, but
yeah, but you absolutely know, because they laid out these plans specifically and these stipulations of how Samoa Joe can interact with the roster and everything like that. You know for a fact that you're gonna get Joe Kross.
Oh, he's coming back. They would not have brought him back on NXT. And they wouldn't have stare down him across and him with Dunn and him with Cole if they didn't plan on using him and using that in the future.
Wait, hold up here for a second. So I read that Samoa Joe had been brought back into NXT, but I guess what I had read, or what I guess I had insinuated from what I had read, is that he's going to be an on-air talent, not an in-ring talent. Are you saying that that's red herring?
So right now he is Regal's heavy. He Regal came out on NXT and said, I've done this for a long time and I really appreciate everything. A big heartfelt tearfelt goodbye. And then Joe's music hit and he comes out and actually I'm sorry, before that happens, Karrion Kross comes out. It's you know what, Regal? Just get out. Just leave. That's what you're doing. Just get out of here. And then Joe comes out, and Regal's hey, I want you to be my successor. And Joe's nope, not doing it. But what I will do is I'm going to make sure you get the respect around here. And Regal said, okay, but if you're going to do this, you have to do it by my rules, which means that no physical altercations unless you're provoked, and no in-ring competitors. So I think that they're going to be using him down the road as an in-ring competitor. I think that he's just not there yet. So they need to be very careful with what they're doing with him. But as I said, they set up a moment with him and Karrion Kross in the ring, they were basically eyeball to eyeball. They set up a thing where he put Adam Cole to sleep because Cole and Kyle O'Reilly were brawling still, so he put Cole down to sleep. And then he had a big stare down with Pete Dunne as well. So you think it's so he will at some point be back as an in-ring competitor in NXT? I believe so. And even Walter got in on the fun. He posted on Twitter a little emoji with the little monocle, so, I think it's
pretty funny.
Happen. Yeah, man. Oh my God. I would literally pay to see a Joe and Walter match. But
oh my gosh, that would be a killer.
So I mean, but I honestly think Wednesday's NXT was as good or better than in your house.
Really?
It didn't do anything for me. And let the hate mail flow through you. You guys know the email address. Feel free to shoot me up all the opinions that I'm wrong about. But at the end of the day,
were there people that were shitting you because you weren't blown away by it and they thought some sort of spectacular event is happening?
The idea that the premise is that expectations are too high, and it's fun. Of course, expectations are going to be high. They're oh, it's so great. Phoenix wasn't. I'm oh man, I have a real hard time looking at NXT events, NXT takeovers, and going, this was a big one. Or this, it's been a big one. And this was okay, or this was good. I think it'll be a line.
So I think the last thing we were talking about was NXT and how really the In Your House, according, in Beef's opinion, and I don't have an opinion on this because, Sunday was a busy day for me and I don't watch the weeklies because I don't have the cables. Beef was saying that, In Your House really wasn't all that better than this past weekly episode of NXT. And I don't know, like, I get it. The In Your House wasn't one of the major ones, sure. But at the same time, I feel like if you're going to follow AEW, and again, like Beef said, I understand. AEW's event was one of their big ones. But if you were compared to AEW, much like NXT is, like NXT and AEW are really compared to each other, if you're going to follow an AEW show with a special event of your own, even if it's not one of the big ones, I would still think you would want to try and pull out all the stops and make it super impressive. Like, am I out of line in thinking that?
At least make it an A- instead of a solid B. Just things like that, little things. I don't know.
Beef, am I out of line in thinking that? Or
and I mean, to be fair, I think it speaks well of NXT's weekly show that I'm comparing the weekly show and the Takeover. So don't think that I'm like, oh man, Takeover was awful. It was so bad that the weekly show. No, man. I'm saying that this week's NXT was really good, and that Takeover was good. Not really good, just good. But like a really good weekly show and a good Takeover are damn near analogous. So that, I think, is, again, like, I'm not shitting on anything. We have I'll speak for myself. I have high standards. For NXT and AEW, the talent that is in those rosters, and people are going to come at me if people were to listen. Excuse me. People will come at me saying, oh, well, NXT is developmental. Yeah, you know what? You can fucking play that song and dance all you want. The minute that they took Finn Balor back to NXT, the minute that Samoa Joe signed back to NXT like it was a separate fucking company.
Yep.
Well, the minute that Adam Cole signed, he's not somebody that's a fucking rookie. Like it's
Adam Cole's not a developmental talent.
It's a mixture. It's a mixture. There is developmental talent there, and yes, that's fine. But I feel, to me, man. It's you have to look at it as a third brand, especially when, I'm going to say it, the majority of the internet wrestling community favors NXT over the main roster. How many times do we sit here and shit all over Monday Night Raw? SmackDown holds its own, but it's still kind of eh. But you look at NXT, and they do it right. They book it right. They rarely miss out on opportunities given to them that come their way. Like, I shudder to think what Vince McMahon would have done with somebody like Cameron Grimes. When he came back from injury, they took real life events because Cameron Grimes, invested in some cryptocurrency and, made a sizable bit of money off of it or whatever. And they took that story and just cranked it up to 11. It's exactly the same thing that made, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's the greatest era ever or anything like that, because we've talked about that before. But it's what made the Attitude Era as favorable as it was, character-wise. Not overall storyline-wise, because we had some really fucked up, stupid shit. But the characters themselves, Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, real life personalities, crank it up to 20. And that's exactly what NXT does with their booking and with their storytelling, their creative. So yeah, I don't view NXT as just a quote unquote developmental brand. You can get fucked if you think that's only the case. When you have world seasoned and world traveled superstars that have wrestled in New Japan and Ring of Honor and everywhere else, I get it that everywhere else is different than WWE, and yes, you have to learn the WWE system, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
But
a lot of these guys aren't new to wrestling.
they're not new to wrestling. Johnny Gargano, fucking, Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, he may be new to NXT, but guess what? Not a rookie. Not by any means.
No.
So don't...
And I think Beef is right, too, when he said that, and I don't think it's just Beef. So, no, I don't think Beef is alone in saying that we hold NXT to higher standards.
Absolutely, we do.
Because of their track record, because of the things they've done in the past. How many events have we watched that came from Raw and SmackDown that we've gone,
whelmed at best.
Yeah, we're whelmed.
At best.
And how many events, I don't even think it's comparable to say how many times we come out of watching a WWE Raw or SmackDown pay-per-view going, I was whelmed at best. And come out of watching an NXT pay-per-view going, I was whelmed at best. I don't really think that there's a comparison. NXT usually knocks it out of the park. And because they perform so well, I think that's why we hold them to such higher standards than a Raw and a SmackDown pay-per-view event.
And look at
because so many times they've knocked it out of the park.
Well, and look at the last time that a quote-unquote main roster pay-per-view had something really so good. Night 1 of WrestleMania, and then what happened? Night 2, we got a big old fat black bucket of goo, a big middle finger popping out of it going, fuck you guys, and The Fiend, and everything else that you held dear and you were looking forward to. Go fuck yourselves. Because reasons.
You don't get that from NXT. You just don't.
Right. So
when NXT does not put on a blockbuster match, oftentimes, yes, we do pick at it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Because we hold it to that higher standard, I think. And I don't think that we're wrong in doing that.
No. We're going to give credit where credit's due, and there's going to be constructive criticism where it needs to be. I can't remember which takeover it was. It was one of the ones. It might have been with Gargano versus Cole, that whole NXT title, that saga, or it was either that one or the one with like the tag team ladder match that had like Street Profits and Red Dragon and whoever else. Fucking Forgotten Sons, and I can't remember if there was a fourth one. I feel like there was. But I think it was that NXT TakeOver event. And we said, like, all the matches on the card were, like, really, really good, except for, at that particular time, the NXT women's title. And it was just one of those things where we're like, it wasn't technically a bad match. It was just that we were emotionally drained from being so overly excited at everything that happened before and after it. Like, we needed that break, and it just so happened, booking-wise, that's where that break fell. And if you looked at the overall booking of the card, we were like, well, there's really no other way you could have done it. So, it's to nobody's fault. It's just the adrenaline roller coaster that you go on when you're watching a high caliber show, such as a takeover. It's bound to happen.
Well, and I mean, there is something to be said with them, this being the takeover between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Like, obviously, this is not one of your big, quote unquote, big four pay-per-views. I understand every bit of that. And again, be real, we can be critical of AEW too. When something does not live up to the expectation that we put on it, because we spend so much time talking about the main roster follies, how they've messed up, how they're going to mess up in the future, and how we loathe everything that Vince McMahon seems to touch. It's only fair that we do the same with NXT and AEW. The problem is is that NXT and AEW doesn't give us those kind of things to talk about that often because they normally hit it out of the fucking park.
Right. And
This-
and we've been more than fair whenever the main roster does do something right, a la the oh my god, the Universal title match between Roman and Cesaro whenever it happened.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Like that and the triple threat WWE title match between Strowman, Lashley, and McIntyre. We said those were the two, those two matches knocked it out of the park, and storytelling wise and everything with that Cesaro match, you couldn't have painted a more perfect picture with that. It was great. Yeah. It left things open for Cesaro to come back in because he didn't get pinned, he didn't get submitted. He passed out. That was it. And just the everything was so good about that. So yeah, we sang its praises up and down. Now then, we turn around and we're like, why? Like, you gave us a filet mignon there. Now you're gonna give us fucking dog food in a can or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. I don't know.
No, you're not wrong.
I just, I don't know. Like, and at the end of the day, I'm sure that's what it is. That, like, if I compare In Your House to, like, any main roster pay-per-view outside of WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series this year, it's probably not. It's probably going to be, like, way better than those things. I understand all of that. It's just it's one of those things where, when much is given, much is expected. Or to quote Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yep.
Like, if you have talents the caliber of, Karrion Kross, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Io Shirai, Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, I could go on. I'm going to expect you to put on a banger of a show every single time. Honestly, I think a lot of it falls on the Martinez versus Xia Li match. It felt out of place. It did not feel like a takeover-worthy match. You know what felt like a takeover-worthy match? Fucking Ciampa and Thatcher versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. I credit NXT for taking a shot and trying. And again, I'm gonna try not to go down this road too much. But the whole Tian Shaw thing, I give them credit for trying it. This whole like supernatural thing with Mei Lin and all this other stuff. I give them credit. It's something that's kind of outside their wheelhouse, but they're like, you know what, we're going to give it a shot. I will never understand why that match bumped Thatcher and Ciampa versus the Grizzled Young Vets, because they put on an outstanding match on NXT this week. There's no reason it should not have been on TakeOver. So that had me scratching my head. And Gonzalez versus Ember Moon wasn't the best. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't, it wasn't like, oh my god, I go back. It was a win from Gonzalez, which I think is what she needed. So I don't know. It's serviceable. I guess we'll see what they do with the next TakeOver. Presumably in Las Vegas. I don't know if they're gonna, do the thing where they do the show in the same city as WWE does. Although SummerSlam's on Saturday this year.
What?
I forget why. Yeah. Yep. SummerSlam's on Saturday night this year. I forget why.
SummerSlam Saturday.
I think something maybe being hosted at Allegiant Stadium. So I don't know how that's all going to play out.
Furry convention. See. Probably. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah, furry convention, baby.
No kink shame. Furries are cool. You do your thing.
No.
It's not around me.
I just had to think of the most random thing I could think of, and I was like, furries, why not?
But yeah, so I think there's something like preempting SummerSlam being on, and who knows, like that may change between then and now. But yeah, so if they do a takeover in I almost said New Vegas, Nevada,
yes, New Vegas,
in Las Vegas, Nevada, they'll have to do it on like Friday night or something. So we'll see how all that plays out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the other big thing, that happened this week is what we talked about was Samoa Joe coming back as the heavy for Regal, and really kind of putting himself into position for further feuds coming up when he gets released to come back. So, it's exciting. I'm still very. I hate
Ooh.
AEW being on these fucking weird ass nights, man.
How much longer do we have to go along with that? Like, how much longer until the NBA playoffs are over?
It can't be more than a month. I think that they're in the. I know hockey's in the finals right now.
Yeah.
And they typically mirror each other or are very close. So they're either in the conference finals or the finals. I'm looking at them now, but yeah, it can't be much longer.
I was about to do the same thing. I know. I if I'm not mistaken, I think the who the fuck's in the NHL finals? I want to say it's Vegas and somebody else.
Yep. It's Tampa Bay and the Islanders.
Wait, what? Tampa Bay and the Islanders?
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
No,
that
can't be right.
That has to be conference because they're in the same. Yeah. Hang on. All right. Anyways,
I don't understand sports.
What's that?
Yeah.
I said I don't understand sports.
I was gonna say I definitely don't. I definitely don't follow basketball at all. The only thing that I know anything basketball related was something that Mark Madden was talking about somebody being vaccinated or not or whatever, and this whole hubbubaloo about
John Madden. No, that's not right.
John Madden. I.
So basketball is still in the semifinals of the conferences.
Okay.
So they are looks like they're at the tail end of the semifinals. So basically they'll have the conference finals and then they'll have the NBA finals.
Okay.
So that could conceivably go through mid-July.
Ugh.
So yeah.
God.
Yeah. But they are. I mean, AEW is doing everything they can, man. They're going back out on the road.
Yeah.
They have some great events coming up that are lined up. They just announced their first show in New York State. I think it's going. Or I think in New York. It may not be New York State, but they're going to be doing a pretty big arena in Queens.
Okay.
So that's coming up. I think either late August or early September. So they're doing what they can. But it's just, you can't make people jump through hoops to try and watch a television show, like have it on Wednesdays. And again, I get they can't do anything about this. And this is going to be something where the move to TBS is going to be beneficial to them because they won't get preempted near as often.
Well, I was going to say the only thing that they may get preempted for would be baseball.
Right. And that would only be in the, September-ish, because once it goes to once baseball goes deep into the playoffs, I think ESPN and Fox kind of take over. So
do they? I wasn't sure how deep I wasn't sure how far into the playoffs the TBS would have it because
I think they only have first round.
Because I'll say this: as much as I don't follow basketball, I still don't. I definitely don't follow basketball because I don't care about basketball. Baseball, I could barely stand watching. It's too slow and too boring for me, and I refuse to recognize the baseball team that currently resides in our fair city because they're barely a team, and fuck Bob Nutting. So that's right. I don't care. Come at me, Bob Nutting. I don't give a fuck. Go fuck yourself. Anyways.
Oh my goodness, this is harsh.
Yep.
Wednesday, September 22nd is AAW Grand Slam. That's what
nice.
they're calling it, Dynamite Grand Slam in the Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, New York.
Okay. Never even heard of that place, but that's cool.
Yeah, AEW does the smaller arenas,
right? Like
most of the time.
Yeah, like if people hear about an event coming from Pittsburgh, they're gonna think Console Energy Center, or they would have thought of like Mellon Arena back in the day. They're not gonna think of the Peterson Event Center. But it's but it's still the Pete's a nice venue. It's
Yeah, and that's about where they need to be for your weekly shows. Put them in the small, because remember, when Raw first started, they were only in the Manhattan Center, and the Manhattan Center sat maybe like 5,000.
Yeah.
Not a lot. So, baby steps. And, obviously the pandemic has hampered AEW's growth because who knows where it would be had we not just clipped out a year of our lives.
Right.
Yep.
But
that's true.
So I mean, I'm fine with them working these 10 grand arenas. Like that's fine, man. And then if you want to have your pay-per-views in the bigger, the hockey barns and such, like great, do that.
I still think it's a big deal though too that AEW is going to have their first event in New York. That's pretty much WWE's backyard.
Yeah.
So really, I think it's yes, it's a smaller arena, it's a smaller venue, but still, that's WWE backyard territory, which is kind of a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I mean, I don't, everybody likes to downplay the whole, AEW versus WWE. It's not about that. It's about competition. It's about, it's not about competition, right? It's about the business thriving again. But bottom line here is that they're. I don't see it I don't see it as a shot across the bow to WWE, but at the same time, I'm sure that Vince McMahon is aware that they're running shows in New York.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you only have so many arenas and spaces that you can go whenever you're touring around the country. I mean, look at Florida. You got Daly's Place, AEW, and then you have WWE with shit at Full Sail or whatever, or the CWC there now. So I mean, they're bound to. There's bound to be a time where they're going to be very close to one another. I would love to see just not and I don't want to put this, not for, oh my God, I want to see somebody go out of business. I don't want to see that at all. But I do want to see healthy competition. How great would it be if we had a situation that kind of harkened back to whenever we almost had the DX invasion on WCW, like they were, so close in proximity. What if we got that with WWE and AEW now, current day, where they're in the same town, something like that. Like, what if we got a night where WWE was in Console Energy Center and fucking AEW was in the Pete? How fucking great would that be? Like,
that'd be awesome, right?
You know what I mean?
It would be the exact opposite of what happened with WWF almost invading WCW. It would be the exact opposite. WWE wouldn't send talent and cameras towards the AEW event.
Oh, no, you're not wrong. You're not
I believe that that's multifaceted because Tony Khan and especially Cody, if WWE sent people there, AEW would put that on their programming.
Yep.
Like WCW shut their doors and kept their wrestlers away and said, don't engage, don't do it, don't show it, nothing. AEW wouldn't do that. If WWE showed up, AEW would absolutely 100% put all of their cameras on that, and they would film all that, and they would put that on their show. They definitely would. So it's not going to be WWE doing it. It's going to be AEW. If it were to happen, it would be AEW going to a WWE event, and I believe, honestly, as long as McMahon's still in charge, I believe you'd see the exact same thing play out, where they would go to like a door to the arena and bang on it, and WWE would shut that door and pretend it's not happening.
Yep.
It is worth noting, by the way, the Arthur Ashe Stadium where they're going to be holding Dynamite has a capacity, at least for tennis, of 23,771. That's going to be decreased a little bit for wrestling,
right?
But not a ton more. MSG has a capacity of 20,789. So MSG is going to be is obviously more famous, but Arthur Ashe actually holds a bigger audience.
Yeah. It's crazy because I remember hearing I can't remember, I might have been listening to like Busted Open or something the one time, but it's amazing how, just the legacy that MSG has, but the reason why they don't use it anymore is just because it's apparently so expensive to just logistically to run things out of there. I don't know why it is and why it's cheaper at other places. I don't know if it's because of this built up prestige that MSG has, or it's I don't know what. If it has something to do with the building itself and it's just old and not updated to what they need to run their current stuff, I don't know. But I just found it fascinating that that's one of the reasons why they don't run. They don't run out of MSG like they used to. It's just it's not cost effective. That's why they moved to running stuff out of Barclays Center and other places like that.
Yep. And I'm sure that it's probably a little from column A, a little from column B, little MSG saying, "Hey, we're MSG, so we're going to charge you more." Little from column B saying, "Hey, we are the world's most famous arena, so
I would love to see AEW operate out of Hammerstein Ballroom. Is that venue still available at all, or is it shut down completely?
They well, who knows what happened with the pandemic, but they just ran that the Raw anniversary show here a couple years ago out of the Hammerstein, or not the Hammerstein, no, that was the Manhattan Center. Hammerstein Ballroom, I don't know, man, that would be an interesting venue as well.
Yeah.
But
what was the arena that Raw started in?
The Manhattan Center.
The Manhattan Center. You know what I would really, and this is the dick in me. What dick in me? Oh
no. I didn't put it there.
This is the asshole in me wanting to see it, but I would love to see AEW do a show in that arena just for funsies.
Well, I think
I know it would get picked apart as, oh, AEW's just trying to be assholes to WWE, blah blah blah. But I'd still love to see it.
Well, I was going to say, I think a lot of people, there were some people that felt that it was such a big deal whenever Ring of Honor did a show out of MSG, because that it's just one of those things like MSG, that's quote unquote WWE's, little
that's their arena,
baby of the past. Yeah. Can't be so.
Even the old ECW arena, I think I'd be a little tickled.
Oh yeah,
to see them do a show out of there.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what I said. I was like, I would love to see. I would love to see AEW do a show out of Hammerstein just once, even if it's just a one-off special thing. Like, that's fine.
Sure. I mean, you could put a Dynamite on in one of those arenas, and not a problem. It doesn't have to be a big ass arena every time.
Yeah. I'm trying
to. I'm just ready for Dynamite to get back on a set schedule, man. Because I just
on Wednesdays. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about tomorrow night. They have Hager versus Wardlow in an MMA cage match, so that's gonna be fun.
Ooh.
And obviously next Saturday they have the big Saturday Night Dynamite with Omega defending the title against Jungle Boy.
I was just about to ask if that had happened or not. Thank you for answering that question.
Next Saturday. So I mean, it's not like they're not putting together decent cards, but I don't know, man. To me, last week kind of felt phoned in a little bit, because you got some weird matchups that I don't think you would have normally gotten, like Uno, like Evil Uno versus Miro for the TNT title. I'm like, all right, I like Evil Uno and all, but I mean, come on, and you're seeing a lot more squash matches, if it's okay to still use that term in 2021. So enhancement matches, I guess is what I'm thinking.
I was gonna say, why has somebody made some?
Oh,
complaint?
everybody's pissed off about anything anymore. So
Oh, okay, got it.
But in enhancement matches, so a lot of them are foregone conclusions. Whereas normally on Dynamite, they'll throw up some pick-em matches. Some could go this way, could go the other way, or at least they'll be competitive. So. And I can't blame them, with the show being displaced, for not putting out their absolute best content. I think that Dynamite on Saturday next week is going to be pretty good. I would imagine, because it's a it's a prime time slot, 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. Like, yeah, Saturday night's not, the best, but hey, you're getting an opportunity to run on a Saturday night, so take the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
I'm just ready for things to get quote unquote normal for them again.
Hey,
yeah, I think the more they get on the road, I think the better shows we'll see. It'll get better.
Something else.
Do we have any Stump the Chumps this week?
Ah, damn it! You took away my segue.
Sorry.
That's okay. Fix it in post, Poot. Here we go. I was just about to ask if getting back to normal, if we can get back on track to being champs instead of chumps again. Do we have a Stump the Chumps?
We do. We got last week's, or the last time, I think we got that one.
Yeah, I think we said we're holding ourselves to at minimum 5 in a row before we're champs.
Right. So we gotta get rolling here.
No, I think we said 5.
Did we? All right.
I
can't remember.
I think.
All right. So this comes from our friend the Midcar Maniac, who is competing for that cruiserweight title. So
oh boy.
He puffing his chest out on us all over here.
Right.
All right, so here we go. Back in the day, WWE had a B pay-per-view called Over the Limit. What was the last title to change hands? Who won it? And who won it / them? Over the Limit was pretty recent, right? Like, they just held it maybe 17.
I'm trying to think what Over the Limit then turned into. Did Over the Limit turn into Fastlane?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I thought it turned into Battleground.
Ooh. Yeah, because oh shit.
Or it was replaced by Battleground.
If I'm remembering, I thought that Over the Limit was like in that weird between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania time frame.
It might have been.
Or now that you fucking say that, it could have been Midsummer, like Battleground was. So, shit.
Who knows? Because now everything's going to be all fucked up whenever we in the next 5 years when we have a Stump the Chumps, because now Hell in the Cell's in the summer. So fuck me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought it was early to late spring, like May, June.
The
time frame.
Over the Limit.
Okay. Yeah, Over the Limit.
For some reason, I think you're right that it's in the springtime. I feel like I'm kind of siding with Beef. I think it was an in-betweener between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, though. I think it was one of those.
Oh, I was that early.
The problem is, like Hell in a Cell, they just move this shit willy-nilly.
Yeah. And then you get some pay-per-views that are only here for a small cup of coffee for a couple of years, and then they change the name of it again. Like, what the hell what was the one that Battleground came out of? Wasn't there like Capital Punishment or something like that?
That was a one-time show.
Capital Punishment.
It was a good, because they were running in DC.
Yeah, yeah.
I liked it, but it was just
Anyways, so
I think it was 17 or 18 was probably the last year for Over the Limit, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
No, no. It would have been way before that. No, it would have been 11, 12, or 13.
Oh, yeah, you know why? Yeah, because I remember us having a Stump the Chumps question about the first Fastlane or something like that, and that was whenever the network first came out in like 14. So yeah, Bransom, you're right. Over the Limit would have been back then in like 12 or 13.
No, I'm pretty sure I've seen it Over the Limit live on the network.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you. So the only thing I'm going off of is the WWE games. They've had Over the Limit in the last couple. 2K19, I'm fairly certain Over the Limit was a selectable arena.
Yeah, but they've had some of those like old
arenas
that haven't been around for a while.
you're not wrong. That's why I was saying maybe 17, but you could be right.
I definitely think it was before that because I think it was replaced long before that.
I think Ransom's right on that one.
So Over the Limit was one of those ones where like it was like a gimmick pay-per-view because they had like that was the same era of like Fatal 4-Way. Like you guys remember whenever they had that show called Fatal 4-Way where that was the gimmick of the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that may have been that time frame. Maybe late, the late aught teens or mid aught teens, I should say, like the 14, 15. Yeah, okay. I believe go back to that far.
So
what's the question again?
What was the last title to change hands, and who won it or them?
So okay, I'm gonna spitball something. Maybe this will help. Maybe it won't. With Over the Limit, for some reason, and I don't know if this was the right time frame, but for some reason, when I'm thinking Over the Limit, I'm thinking the Randy Orton Kofi Kingston feud. Now I know that wouldn't have been for the title, but for some reason that comes to mind. Is that the right time frame? 12 and 13 when they feuded?
No, I don't think so.
That was like maybe 9, 10, I think.
Was it that early?
I think so.
So I think if I'm remembering right, and I think this was an Over the Limit pay-per-view, unless I'm thinking of the completely wrong pay-per-view, which is always a possibility. If I'm thinking Over the Limit, the last one that I think I can remember featured John Cena versus John Laurinaitis. Like it's back when John Laurinaitis and John Cena were having their feud with People Power and all that bullshit.
Okay.
So I think that transpired in this event. And I think it was so long ago that there was still the Divas title. Like, I don't think it had yet been transitioned from Divas to Women's Championship. It was definitely still the Divas title, I believe.
Oh, you're correct. You're correct with that at least, because the Divas title didn't become the Women's title until the Women's Revolution. So that was like, and
4 years ago or so.
Yeah.
Yep. So you'll be right about that. So you're thinking very strongly that it was the Divas title match that is
no, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't think it was that, but I think it was like in the Divas title era.
Okay.
And I think it was back during the Cena Laurinaitis feud, because I think the last Over the Limit, if I'm remembering the correct pay-per-view, but I could be thinking of a different pay-per-view, I think this one had the Cena versus Laurinaitis, and if Cena won, there was some sort of stipulation where Laurinaitis lost power or something like that. I don't know the exact stipulation.
Wait, was this the one where he was fighting to get those people reinstated, like Eric Rowan and?
Ooh.
It might have been.
3 people got fired, like in non. I guess in kayfabe, like Laurinaitis fired people, and he was fighting for their careers. One of them was Eric Rowan. I don't remember the other 2.
It might have been, but that definitely wasn't the match that the Maniac's asking about, because there was no title on the line in that.
Right, exactly.
Right, but it's in that wheelhouse.
That I'm thinking about, there were multiple title defenses, but I think there was only one title that changed hands at this pay-per-view. And for some reason, I'm thinking it's the Intercontinental title, because again, if this is the right pay-per-view, I think they did a battle royal for the number 1 contender for the Intercontinental title. And it happened, like they did the battle royal, and then they did the title match on the same pay-per-view.
Okay.
But I'm having a hard time thinking who was the champion and who was the challenger. But if I'm right, I need to think of who won the battle royal to face the champion for the Intercontinental title.
So, put this into perspective. So, if this was after, because help me get there. If this was in May, June, what WrestleMania would this have followed? Probably like 27, 26?
Wait, if it's 12 or 13?
So I'm thinking 2012 was the last time they had Over the Limit. So what was the WrestleMania that happened in 2012?
Would have been 9 years ago. And that would have been, what was this year? 37, right? So that would have been 26. So then,
Would CM Punk have been the champion at that point?
Wait, what? Wait, what No, wait. You said this was WrestleMania 37 this year, right?
right. So 9 years ago would have been 26.
28, sir.
20. Yep, sure would have been. You're right.
Yeah.
So that would have been 28 was Punk versus Jericho, Cena versus Rock, once in a lifetime, numero un.
Yep.
Um,
Alberto Del Rio versus Edge.
no,
28?
That would have been 28 with Daniel Bryan. No. Yes. No.
Oh!
Was there
Crap.
a brand split? Was there a brand split at this point?
Oh, most definitely. Raw and SmackDown, yeah.
28 was Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus for the world title to open up. And then CM Punk versus Jericho for the WWE title. I don't remember seeing. Oh, yeah, Cena versus The Rock for that, that hunk of mesh. So, because this would have been during the summer of Punk then. So
the WWE title would not have changed hands at this Over the Limit if it was the summer of Punk.
Right.
So
Okay,
it's not that one.
Who was Cody? Was Cody Rhodes the Intercontinental Champion around this era?
Oh, he might have been.
Ooh.
I think that's right.
Okay.
So Cody Rhodes lost the IC title to Big Show at WrestleMania 29. So that tells me that he was probably at least in the mix at this point.
Maybe he's the one that won the Battle Royal.
I don't remember Cody winning a Battle Royal for the title, though.
Other names come to mind. MVP, he would have been on SmackDown with the U.S. title, though. Matt Hardy. Shelton Benjamin.
The Miz would have been a safe bet because he's
The
held
Miz
it.
would have been in that IC title era. Christian
Dolph Ziggler.
Christian Ziggler. Wait, did Christian win this Battle Royal for the number one contender spot for the IC title?
Maybe.
I think that might have been it.
Okay.
Because I think maybe Christian won the Battle Royal and then went on to face Cody, and he beat Cody for the title. The IC title's the only one I think changed hands at this pay-per-view.
You're probably not wrong.
I can't place the U.S. title during this era, though.
No, I can't either.
This was pre-Rusev, but I think.
But if this was during a brand split, there wouldn't have been both on this show.
Oh, good call. Yeah, I don't know what point they because they've gone back and forth a couple times where they've done brand specific shows and then gone to full shows. The last time that they ran brand specific shows, it didn't last for too long because they kind of started running out of steam. But yes. I think that was the time after this time. I think that this time was part of the initial
brand specific.
Yeah, brand specific events. So I think if there was a Battle Royal for the IC title or for number one contender for the IC title, the U.S. title would not have been defended on this pay-per-view. It would have been the IC title.
Well, you seem pretty set on the Intercontinental title. So you're the only one that's got a beat on this. So we're just trying to help you get there. So if you think that the Christian won the Intercontinental title at this pay-per-view, I believe you.
That's the only one that I can really think of because honestly, the Divas title's up in the air. I don't think it changed hands, but I don't really even remember who was involved in it. It definitely wasn't the WWE title because it was, going into the summer of Punk. So Punk wouldn't have lost the WWE title. I don't know about the tag team titles. I think this is back when Kofi was tagging with some rando.
Mm-hmm. It may have even been Evan Bourne or something.
It might have been.
Oh, the whole air boom.
Yep.
Maybe, yeah. I don't remember. that title change, like for some reason, the only title that sticks out in my mind is the IC title. And for some reason, I think that Christian won the Battle Royal. And I'm just going off of assumption here that if he won the Battle Royal, he probably would have gone on to win the IC title. Okay. Especially if it was Cody maybe that had it, or even the Miz that had it.
Or Ziggler even, yeah.
Yeah, or Ziggler.
Any of the three of them would have been a good foil for Christian for sure. All right.
I guess if I had to use my best guess, I would say that it was Christian and the IC title, and Christian won.
I'm okay.
If we have to name who he beat, I'm not 100% on that.
We do not. Nope.
Okay.
He's asking what the last title was to change hands on it and who won it. So yeah, we'll go with Christian and the Intercontinental title. So here we go. All right. He says, I hate to admit when I'm wrong, but I admit it. The Chooseweight Open is really fun. You damn right it is, Pat. You damn right. Oh my gosh. The last Over the Limit was in 2012. The last title change hands was the Intercontinental title, and Christian defeated Cody Rhodes. Holy fuck.
Get the fuck out of here.
Ransom, you are a fucking, like, savant when it comes to this stuff, man. Like, I might be a historian and all that, but you, like, watch these, like, weird fucking pay-per-views, like, and they just, like, strike a chord with you. That's awesome.
Now, so were we right on the time?
That's what that WWE Network does for me. Like, I go back and I rewatch old pay-per-views.
So were we right in thinking of the timeline when the pay-per-view was then? Does
it
give
was 2012.
No,
2012.
But did it give a month or anything? Did it say like February, whatever?
He did not.
Can somebody Wikipedia that one?
I'll wiki that. Go ahead.
But yeah, so there you go. Oh, hey, we win again because of Ransom big branding it. So, Maniac, as we are so love to do, thank you for sending us a question. We always love getting your questions, but at the end of the day, you lose, sir. You get nothing.
I love it when Beef gets up on the microphone like that.
I know,
Gets me a little excited in the trousers.
So, by the way, just to give you a little history here, we're going back, and Over the Limit only ran for 3 years, but it was in May. It was Over the Limit 2010, 11, and 12. In May 23rd of 2010, 22nd, and then 20th, respectively. So this one would have been May 20th, 2012. From the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina, and the main event was
somewhere Poot just popped.
I know, right? And the main event was John Laurinaitis versus John Cena in a no DQ match where if Cena won, Laurinaitis would be fired, and anyone who interfered would be fired. Let me go to the specific.
What replaced Over the Limit? Was it Battleground?
That's a good question. I don't know. Yes, actually, yeah, it does. It says Over the Limit was a pay-per-view event produced by WWE. It was the third and final event under the Over the Limit chronology. In 2013, Over the Limit was replaced by Battleground. So there you go.
Stupid Battleground. At least it wasn't Great Balls of Fire.
Oh God. That needed to never have happened at all. Let's look at, just for shits and giggles, we're going to look at some of the matches here we're going to look at the matches that happened at Over the Limit 2012. Kane defeating Zack Ryder. Christian won by last eliminating The Miz in the Battle Royal for winner getting the choice of the United States or Intercontinental Championship. And obviously, and then he took that. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth
Kofi and R-Truth. I forgot they were ever a team.
They had a WWE Tag Team Championship match. They were the champs. They defeated Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger with Vicky Guerrero in tow. The singles match for the WWE Divas Championship had Layla, the incumbent, defeating Beth Phoenix. We had a fatal 4-way match for the World Heavyweight Championship. It was Sheamus as the champ, defeating Alberto Del Rio, with Ricardo Rodriguez Chris Jericho and Randy Orton. We had.
Oh, so it wasn't a split pay-per-view. It was a dual pay-per-view.
Right.
Yeah, we had Brodus Clay with the Funkadactyls defeating the Miz in a singles match. The Miz pulling double duty that night as well too. Look at that.
Nice.
Christian defeating Cody Rhodes for the Intercontinental Championship. CM Punk defeating Daniel Bryan. That was a singles match for the WWE Championship, which obviously Punk retained. Ryback defeated Camacho with Hunico in a singles match, and then
under a minute,
and then
54 seconds,
and then yep, correct. And then John Laurinaitis defeated John Cena, in that no DQ match. Had Cena won, Laurinaitis would have been fired, and anyone who interfered would have been fired. Wow.
Ransom, I can't believe you got there, man. Like, that's awesome.
I love these old pay-per-views.
I'm glad.
I don't like that. I don't watch a lot of the new ones, but I watched a lot of the old ones way back in the day.
See, and that's why we're a great team, because like I have a pretty robust knowledge of WrestleMania. So like if I can get to the WrestleMania that event was near, I can tell you who was in what title picture and why. Like I'm pretty accurate on that. Yep. So I'm glad that I was able to get you in the ballpark with Cody Rhodes that got you there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm just looking at the posters now for Over the Limit. The one from 2010 had Edge, looking like he's running right at your face. With
I remember that
the speedometer there. Over the Limit 2012 had Orton making his angry grr face, like the I'm gonna RKO you face, but it.
Who did Orton face at that pay-per-view?
He was in that fatal 4-way match with the World Heavyweight
with Jericho and Sheamus and
okay. All right.
Over the Limit 2011, so very fun looking. That had, I can't even tell who's in that. It looks like the Miz, and I don't know who he would have been feuding with. Oh, it's the Miz and Daniel Bryan. It has like Miz like looking like he's kind of like doing a jumping clothesline or choke slamming Daniel Bryan from like the mid to top rope, but there's like little flashes of color coming from them to show that they're falling fast. Like
over the limit.
Over the limit. It's a very summery looking one, like just summer colors. I don't know.
So, all right. So before we burrito this, I think during one of our many breaks that we had tonight in the technical difficulties of the Pittsburgh Pile podcast, we did discuss, I think next week, and I believe this is all tentative because we haven't run this by Poot yet, and we don't want to make any decisions without consulting our resident bard. But
because we couldn't communicate.
As long as the bard, I think as long as the bard is in agreement, I think next week, for anybody who's listening, we're going to do an episode of Breaking Kayfabe. And we're gonna harken back to our Among Us Breaking Kayfabe episodes. I think we're gonna do another gaming night where we game with anybody who wants to play with us. I think we're gonna try and do a Breaking Kayfabe Among Us if we can get enough people in there to have a decent game. If not, then we'll call an audible and just do a regular Breaking Kayfabe. But for anybody who's listening, if you're available Thursday night of next week or this week, depending on when you listen to this podcast, we're going to try and do a Breaking Kayfabe Among Us with anybody who wants to play. And where do we want to have that hosted? What Discord? Do we want to do that in yours, Tom? Do we want to do that in?
We could
probably not the P3s.
It depends on if we want to live stream. If we want to live stream it, we can do it from my Discord. We can talk the logistics of it after we burrito and figure out what will be best, and we'll let the general public know.
Yeah, good chance.
We'll put it in a Facebook page. I'm sure someone will make a video about it too.
Yeah, and
good chance if you're listening to this, you probably already are a member of one of those two Discords, either the Ransom Discord or the Tom Casual Gaming Dad Discord. So we'll
hopefully you are.
We'll get logistics out there. But yeah, watch on updates for that, and hopefully you can join us for a round of sussery.
Okay.
And Tom, if you are wanting to do a live stream through Casual Gaming Dad, I am in no opposition to that at all. I guess that all depends on if you want to do it. If you want to do it, awesome. If not, we'll just record it. It's whatever you prefer to do, I think.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll talk about that here in a few. Anybody else got any other pressing issues that we need to bring up before we burrito?
No,
I don't think I do.
Pretty robust show. We got some picks in. We talked in your house. We talked Samoa Joe, and we went off in the weeds on Stump the Chumps, as we are wont to do. So yeah, but now we have become extended in the molar.
Yes, we have. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up in a nice little tiny pastry corn-fed husk, whatever. I don't know. I was trying to find any other way to say burrito without having to say burrito, but fuck it, it's burrito time.
Let's chalupa this thing.
Let's chalupa. Gordita. It's Gordita time. We want to thank everybody for listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast, and we also want to thank our sponsors. First, I'll just get myself out of the way. It's not nepotism, but we'd like to thank our very own resident Tiger Bomb Tom, Mr. Casual Gaming Dad. That's me. You should go check out my page over on Facebook or over on YouTube or over on Twitch at Casual Gaming Dad 84. I try to do a variety of gaming. Now, I will say that the rest of this month here in June and going into July is going to be a little wonky with the streams, just because I'm in the process of moving Tiger Bomb Tom LLC headquarters from one end of Pittsburgh to the other. So that's all in the works. But I usually try to get some fairly regular Monday night either Mario Kart or Super Mario Party going on for you guys on the Switch. Tuesday nights is Among Us, where we always have a blast, and everybody here from the P3 usually participates there. Wednesdays is kind of the question mark to be determined what game I want to play. And literally last night, I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I popped in Super Metroid. And finally got that freaking, 13th completion to the criteria that I normally do. Because we were at like 13.75, then 13.8, then 13.85, just like, because I just kept fucking it up. So, but anyways, that aside, go check out Casual Gaming Dad. You can join Casual Gaming Dad's Corner over on Facebook, where if you yourself are a streamer, or if you have your streamers that you watch on your own or whatever, that's the place for all of you to upload your own content or the content of others, any geeky stuff, whatever you want. It's your guys' space. Go for it. Obviously all post pending approval by me. That said, we also like to thank our other sponsors. We'd like to thank Sean Tischler and all the work that he does with IWC, bringing IWC to the unwashed masses of Clearfield, and we thank him for that because somebody's got to do it. Also, don't forget to go check out again, we always say go check out your local indies. If you are in the Pittsburgh area, look up IWC and see where they're having their shows. I believe they're having one here in July, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think Carlito's wrestling in that one too.
I believe Carlito's going to be there. I believe
Big Cass is facing Spencer Slade.
Big Cass is supposed to be there. There's somebody else too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know I've sent it in the chat to these guys. There's also some weird independent show. I can't remember who's a part of it. It's like a Rumble Under the Bridge or something. It's down in the Homestead Grays. So, if you got your bulletproof vest on and you want to brave Homestead, go down there and check out some independent wrestling too. I kid. It's not all parts of Homestead, just, maybe some. Whatever.
It's the same night. Apparently, it's the same night as IWC. So,
is it? No, wait, no, it can't be. Is it?
You gotta brawl under the bridge. Yeah, you gotta know your audience. And again, I'm not. Make your choices. Do what you want to do. Go support any local indie, for goodness sakes. But you got to know your competition, man. And like IWC is an absolute treasure.
They really are.
And at this point, it's an establishment in Pittsburgh.
It really is.
If you're a wrestling company trying to run opposite of IWC, on the same night as IWC, you might want to rethink that.
If you're
not going to go well.
Or you get the beef line. You get nothing. But yeah, go support your local indies. Go check out IWC. And hopefully we'll all be getting together for some IWC shows. If nothing else, we'll definitely be getting together for more get-togethers for WWE pay-per-views and stuff like that too. Once Tiger Bomb Tom LLC headquarters is in closer proximity to these other two jamokes right now. So who else do we want to thank? We want to thank the now absent because of technical difficulties, Poot the Bard. Go check out his YouTube channel. He does some guitar work. He does some gaming. You can also listen to him on the Tone Bros podcast. So check him out over there. Also, we want to thank, of course, Mr. Frigoff Ransom, the Mad King himself. There's been some busy happenings in the Mad Kingdom of Mordor. So there hasn't been some videos, but as of late. But you can go check out the other ones because they're still just as poignant and still just as funny and entertaining, and all the lovely sounds of Mordor, from crows to chimes to sirens to chickens to you name it.
God Almighty,
Ransom's got it for you. So whatever ambient background noise you need, he's got you covered.
Stupid things.
He's got you covered. All right, and I think that takes care of all the sponsors. So, on behalf of everybody here at the Pittsburgh Pile Driver Podcast, for Poot the Barbarian, for the legendary Beef the Legend, for the Mad King, Mr. Ransom the Madman, and for me, your current, for now, reigning, defending, undisputed Cruiserweight champion of the Pittsburgh Pile Driver Podcast, Tiger Bomb Tom. Have a great day, night, whenever you listen to it. Stinger?
We miss you, Poot.
Good stinger.